Hey guys, how's it going? Nick is here as always, and this is episode 8 of Amazon Answers. Today we'll be talking about retail arbitrage versus private labeling. How unique does your product have to be, and the difference between 50 and 150 reviews, and how that impacts your sales. Let's go.
Hey Nick, what are your thoughts about retail arbitrage in Canada versus private labeling?
Okay, so let's talk about retail arbitrage versus private labeling. So this is a topic that I've discussed previously, and I'm guessing you want to know specifics about Canada. And I'll tell you right now, Canada is just a miniature market, a miniature little small play of the United States. So whatever the United States is, Canada is pretty much the same except on a smaller market. So just in general, I will say that there are pros and cons in retail arbitrage versus private labeling. So if you find yourself in a position where you don't have a lot of capital, you don't really know a lot about the private labeling or how Amazon works, or you've never really been an online seller, I think retail arbitrage might be a good introduction. Here's why. Retail arbitrage is something easy, something that you can test, and it's more of helping you get over that psychological, barrier of, oh no, I can't be an online seller. I can never make, 4 or 5 figures per month selling stuff online. So what you'll do is you'll research some niches online, or maybe even you'll go into a store like Walmart, let's say, or Zellers, for example. You'll go there, you'll go to the sales, or not sales, but items that are for sale. You'll look at those, and then you'll pull up your, Amazon.com real quick on your phone, and then you'll see what these items that are on sale are being sold for on Amazon. And if it's a substantial enough difference, let's say the item that's on sale is $10 if you buy 3, whereas each individual one is like 20 on Amazon.com, then I think it's worth it to grab a bunch of those, maybe 10 to 20 units of those, make a listing underneath the ones that are being sold on Amazon, kind of get your foot in the door that way. And then as soon as something is bought, you do a fulfilled by merchant, which is you get an email with customers' info, where to ship it to, and then you just send it out yourself. And you can start making money that way. And now this gives you an idea, because basically you making a listing underneath that item that you bought on sale that now you're going to sell. It's basically the same as you making a listing for a product that you're going to manufacture yourself in China and then deliver to the Amazon warehouse. And then you fulfilling it is the same thing as Amazon fulfilling it, except Amazon is going to charge you some money for it. So you can see how this can evolve. But then on the flip side, with private label, I think the biggest thing is you're building your own brand. You're building an asset that can be recognized, that can be sold, that can be controlled by you. You're not just selling, My Little Pony toys or, Chewbacca masks. Like, that's not really what you're, it's not something that you're not in control of, right? Those things are established brands, and you're just a distributor. You're just kind of making your profits on the flip of it, kind of the price differentiation. Whereas with your own product and private labeling, however, you do need capital. It's yours to control. It's yours to set the price for. You are the one who's manufacturing it. You're the one who's making it. So it's a lot easier to control in terms of marketing, in terms of external channels, such as create your own Shopify store and your own distribution. You can have a warehouse instead of just Amazon having to distribute your stuff. So if you have capital and you have some knowledge, some experience in online game, go for private labeling if you can. If you're too uncertain, too unsure, and you really can't overcome those mental blocks of just start selling online, start with retail arbitrage. It's all relative, and it's all levels. It's all part of the game. Every people might start at different levels, but everybody has to go through the same kind of progression, so to speak. So don't sweat it. Just start at the level you're most comfortable with, and then slowly work your way up as you feel more comfortable. I hope that answers your question.
Hey Nick, do you agree with this guy? He's basically saying that in order to succeed on Amazon, you need to sell something unique that other sellers can just copy and sell at a lower price.
Hey, Constantine. As kvass here is imported, I would say is just as good as back in good old Belarus. But to answer your question, I watched the video and I would agree with some aspects of it, but I would disagree with others. So even though recently I've started saying to a lot of people that ask me questions that uniqueness is probably one of the two biggest factors that will be responsible for your success. However, I don't think that it's something that needs to be overthought, because the way you're describing it, make something unique that other people can't copy. I think no matter what you put out, other sellers will be able to copy. The thing is, it's your unique product and your unique brand, and you being first with that product that will really solidify your customer base. And I've seen this happen time and time before, where somebody comes up with a cool product, people start buying it, and then there's 5 to 10 copycats that come out in the market, and they never ever really do as good as the original, unless the original falls off in terms of marketing or just stops supplying it. Then of course the need in the market will be fulfilled by someone else. But in terms of just being unique, just being different, of course you have to put something on Amazon that hasn't been there before. And it kind of goes back to the idea of doing your market research, where you look at what's already selling, and then you look at reviews to seek ways to improve upon it, and then you make a whole different product that are basically an improved version of what's already selling. So that's kind of where the uniqueness aspect comes into it. But at the same time, I don't want you to overthink it. Don't just sit there day and night thinking, no, this is not good enough. This is not good enough. I need to come up with something freaking golden. Like I'm waiting for my golden ticket, to launch on Amazon. Then I'm going to freaking win the game. It's never really like that. It's all a progression. It's all levels. So it has to be unique enough. It has to be just good enough for you to get in and get started and get going. So that would be my advice to you. And also follow your gut feeling. I think one of the most underestimated factors in this whole game is your internal kind of voice that tells you, yeah, I really think this is going to work. Trust that. And if you're having doubts, try to find out why you're doubting it. Maybe it's because it's not unique enough, or maybe the market's is too small, But more often than not, your gut will tell you, hey, like, this is a really good product, I gotta go for it. It's your logical sense that's gonna get in the way. Like, I don't know this, I don't know that. Just try to follow your primitive instinct. Usually it tends to lead you the right way. I hope that answers your question.
Richard asks, why do you recommend 150 reviews, whereas Greg from Jungle Scout recommends 50? How easy or more costly is it to compete at 150 versus 50 review level?
Hey Richard, I'm not quite sure what you're referring to in the first question. I'm going to assume that you're talking about my how do I do my research video, and in that one I think this has been addressed before. I just basically clicked BSR. I clicked one of the top sections just to show you that you can sort it. I wasn't necessarily choosing one over the other. And BSR, even though it is relative, I think it's still, in my opinion, like separate from that answer. I think it's still, in my opinion, a bit of a more accurate way, because everything else in Jungle Scout is just an estimate. Sales, profits, other than price, actually. Like price, of course, you could tell. Price and BSR is set in stone, but profits are estimated, sales are estimated. But BSR is more or less of a way to judge it. But if you're referring to that video specifically, like I said, it's just to show you that you can sort it by category. But for your second question, which I find to be more interesting, what is the difference between 50 and 150 reviews? So when you get started, you're doing your research, or let's say you're looking for a new niche for another product. Basically, the reviews tell you how hard will it be to qualify your product to other people. If you're dealing with competition that have, let's say, 200 to 300 to 400 reviews, it's going to take you a little bit longer. To give you an example, for my first product, using ReviewKick to attain my first 10 to 20 reviews, and then using the SalesBacker tool for automated emails, I changed some stuff around in their templates, but 80% of the template remained pretty much the same. Within a month and a half, I got up to 120, 130 reviews total. So that should give you an idea that if you're selling about 10 products per day, 10 to 15 products per day, and you have a success rate of about 8 to 10%, response, you will get about 120 reviews roughly. So it's not uncommon to get to the level of 100 to 150 or so within your first month. Like it's not rocket science. As long as the sales are there, you can keep sending out emails prompting people to review your product, and it all depends on the response of them. So sometimes it's a bit of out of your control depending on your email copywriting. But I would say that 150 is not a lot. 1,000 is a lot. 1,000 might take you 6, 7, I don't know, 8 months, and if you're consistently selling, like that's something that I haven't really reached myself, so I can't really speak on that. But I'll tell you that 100 to 150 reviews is not really that much, and you can get up to that level pretty quickly. And then once you're there, anyone who's new, basically like the further down you go in terms of the quantity of the reviews, the higher the barrier of entry for that specific level there will be. So if it's just you and another guy, it's pretty much you two competing. Other people can come on the market, and even if they have a better product, even if they have a better listing, not necessarily that they're gonna outsell you, because reviews, as we all know, social what's it called, social qualification, it matters a lot. Once people vouch for your product with 5-star reviews, it's a whole different ball game. So, go approach at it that way. 50 reviews you can get within, like 2 to 3 weeks of 10 sales per day, with just automated sales backer tool. Like that's not even a lot. So I think that when you're doing your research, if you limit yourself to just 50 reviews or under, you're really looking at like newcomers, at newbies who might have just spiked their algorithm, and that's where they're coming up on your sales, where they gave away at a discount a bunch of their items, and the Amazon algorithm registered, wow, they're making a bunch of sales, boom, there they are, and projected profits are in 5 figures, 10 to 20,000 per month. And then if you give it a couple of weeks, they'll fall right off because they're not making any actual sales. It was just promo sales. So I would say aim for like those 100 to 150 review range, and you should find some really good products for your niche. I hope that answers your question. Alrighty then. This concludes episode 8 of Amazon Answers. Thank you guys for sticking around as always, and don't forget to like the video if you got some value out of it. Leave some comments down below with some of your own questions that I can address in my future videos. Ask anything away, and I hope you've enjoyed. Subscribe to this channel because I do come out with these weekly, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Take it easy.